Electrodes click as scientists adjust the headband on my forehead. The room narrows. A heartbeat's hush. Then the sleep monitor's lights pulse in time with my breath. 5 minutes of recording, the technician states, fingers trembling just above the controls. Stay calm. I force a nod, eyes heavy, walls around me humming with low energy. A neurologist with rimless glasses leans in, voice tense. What do you see when the dream begins? I whisper, almost unsure of myself. Shapes. Spirals, black as ink, moving over water. Some kind of ancient writing, but it slips away when I reach for it. She glances at her colleague, jotting quick notes. Monitors responding strangely, he murmurs, squinting at the shifting EEG patterns. I close my eyes, sinking deeper. The hum thickens. Somewhere above, I sense a shadow arcing across the ceiling, cool air swirling as if a storm's about to break. We've never seen this before, the lead scientist utters, looking at the display as lights stutter, red, blue, then a pale gold that gathers at the corners of the dream footage screen. Someone in the control booth gasps. Look at the tape, a third technician urges, eyes wide. Those aren't regular neural signatures. Ink-black figures flicker across the playback, lines bending through fields and melted cityscapes. The dream shifts. An old tower, a gate glowing silent amid shifting shadows. The walls feel thinner. A senior observer sets a hand on a talisman at his chest. Did you feel that? He whispers, not just to me, but to the room itself. The air vibrates, syncs with the monitor's rhythm. Each beep is louder, the room charged as if watching a storm through closed eyelids. Suddenly, the dream tape surges, lights whirring frantically. The lead researcher swallows, voice barely above a breath. This is more than REM activity, isn't it? These symbols, I think I've seen them before, in old texts. I want to ask, are you afraid? But the words tangle at the back of my tongue. A nurse steps back, shivers crawling up her sleeves. It's not just technology, she murmurs, half to herself. It's like something old's moving through the walls. The footage blurs, shapes folding into spirals, colors spilling out of the screen and crawling along tile seams. A hush falls, the air heavy and fixed. I lay still, sensing presence close. Not unfriendly, but vast. Older than the night, patient as water on stone. Let it flow, I think, heart racing. Let it show what needs to be seen, even if nobody knows how to explain it. The lead scientist presses record, and in that single moment, the lab glows with a strange pulse. Not just the bright of discovery, but the breathing shimmer of truth long kept from waking eyes. The hum from the machines quiets, replaced by a tense hush as the viewing room fills. A panel of neurologists straighten their white coats. A Buddhist nun settles her, robes, fingers tracing prayer beads once, then still. The monitors flicker, blue light washing across the group as I watch from the glass. The lead scientist cues the dream tape. We'll stop at the first anomaly, he says, trying to sound certain, but his voice wavers at the edges. A shaman, eyes half closed, murmurs, just observe. Don't reach for meaning. The first frames roll, mountains folding into spirals, rivers moving in slow, impossible arcs. Eyelids droop all around me. A neurologist slumps, pen rolling out of loose fingers. Another struggles to keep notes, scribbling shapes instead of words. A circle, a broken line, a strange glyph she's never seen before. Did the air just shift? A younger researcher asks, blinking hard. Her voice quiets as her head dips, breath deepening. I lean closer to the glass, anxiety rising in my chest. The shaman's lips barely move. Something is calling. I must. His shoulders sag. The Buddhist nun exhales slowly, a single word escaping as she fades into a trance. Gate. The lead scientist tries, at first, to stave off the dream's pull. He pinches the bridge of his nose, fumbles with a mug of coffee, taps the table with a trembling hand. "Stay with me," he urges, but even his gaze melts toward the flickering screen. Outside, wind rattles the windows. The room's blue glow pulses, growing softer as every panelist slips under. Caught in limbo, eyes open but unseeing. From the glass, all I can hear is slow, synchronized breathing. The only trace left, beyond the heavy hush, is the low, whispered language that now seems woven into the tape itself. The scientist's voice is the last to waver. It's like being carried out to sea. My heart races. Are they dreaming my dream? Or is something dreaming us all? I'm left wondering what waits on the other side of sleep, and, for the first time, if it wants to be explained at all. Bronze bells ring faint across the snowy courtyard, the Lhasa air sharp with the scent of melted butter lamps and old stone. The head monk bows his head to the scientist escorting him, murmuring, "We agreed to watch quietly. No interference. Let us see what the waking mind cannot." In the temple's dim video room, orange-robed monks array themselves on cushions, palms resting on knees, eyes gentle but intent. A thin, white-scarved nun lights 3 sticks of juniper at the door, drawing a spiral over the controls. "Breathe with the recording," she whispers, "not against it." The researcher nods twice, uncertain but trusting. They press play. Dream footage glimmers, a mountain wrapped in blue fire, staircases twined into impossible curves, black glyphs morphing across starlit gates. Within seconds, the air thickens, chants trailing off, some monks tipping sideways as sleep sweeps over them. The youngest monk, barely 20, murmurs, voice blurred, "Why do I remember the gate? Why does it ache to open?" His fingers curl, as if grasping a vanished thread. A few resist falling under. Experienced elders form a circle, chanting ancient mantras in counterpoint to the dream's pull. Their voices rise, first confident, then quivering, as dream images flicker across every closed eyelid. A crack of thunder startles, butter lamps flicker. One monk's voice wobbles, chanting a forgotten name, eyes flickering under their lids. After what feels like centuries, the projector is switched off. The room stirs. Some monks return slowly, dazed as from profound meditation. The abbot's brow creases in wonder. "I saw a gate opening, blue flame, ancestors beckoned." Another monk wipes tears. "Mandala patterns in the sand, even as I slept." The researchers try to ask questions, but answers fracture. Each man recalls only fragments, spiral towers, vanishing doors, lingering warmth in the palms. The senior nun's voice cuts through, wonder and fear interwoven. "Whatever dwells in your dreaming waits in us all. Perhaps our rituals are not meant to shield us, but to help us remember." Outside, the early sun creeps in. Sand mandalas drawn at dawn pulse with new, unplanned symbols. Traces of a dream bridging the divide between science and the sacred, open and unexplained. Rain strikes the window in Dublin, each drop a shiver against glass, while in Varanasi incense haze turns the lab's white light warm and strange. I hear the technician at the Irish sleep clinic whisper, "Cue it up, just 10 minutes." Beside her, the neurospecialist jokes, "What could go wrong with a nap at work?" But his fingers tap nervous, tracing a spiral on his mug's rim. In India, yogic adepts lean close, adjusting EEG leads as river bells ring in the background. Let the mind drift, suggests the head yogi, breath slow and measured. Dreams reveal what waking hours hide. Monsoon winds drum against the windows as the reels roll. In both labs, viewers barely last 5 minutes. In Dublin, rain blurs the city while the scientist slumps forward, heartbeat and EEG sliding from crisp lines into strange, widening spirals. Celtic knots, murmurs the assistant, voice drowsy, his hand unconsciously sketching the looping pattern over his page. The sleep technician nods, not truly awake. "Do you hear the river?" She mumbles, eyes closing as spirals crawl across the monitor. More art than science now. As they dream, her pen drops, tracing the knots into the margin. Across the world, in Varanasi, adepts mutter in Sanskrit about golden serpents gliding through silent, moonlit waters. One scribe jolts, describing a river of light among shadows, a motif returning in every ancient scripture he studies. All the EEGs, he manages, pointing. Spirals and circles, never a straight path. His voice is thick with awe. Around him, incense swirls as another yogi quietly slips into unconsciousness, hands at heart. Narration cuts through. No matter the country, Celtic, rain or incense heat, river or mist, no viewer stays awake past the tape's midpoint. Each culture's symbols catch the dream in their own way. Knots in Dublin, glowing serpents in India, silent rivers everywhere. It's not just sleep that's spreading. It's the world's hidden memories, woven through dreams nobody expected to share. As the two labs fall silent, monitors glowing, spirals blossoming on every readout, the question grows. Is this a warning, an invitation, or simply the truth waking up in everyone at once? Low voices drift through the lab as I sit beneath a swing lamp, notebook open, but pen forgotten in my hand. The late investigator leans in, searching my eyes for answers I can't easily offer. "Can you tell us what you remember? This time, try not to edit or guess." His words are gentle, cautious. I close my eyes, breath catching. Shadows swirl behind my lids. It's slippery, like breathing underwater. Sometimes I see everything, I admit. Faces, old cities, a tower of feathers. But it all shifts. There's a woman with silver lines on her cheek. She speaks, but the words scrape out in sounds I almost recognize. Then static. A psychologist, face tired, concerned plain in her frown, leans forward. "Do any details stay?" I nod, hand trembling over the notebook. Always the staircase. A spiral, stone, each step carved with symbols, an owl perched on the rail. And sometimes, a warning. Don't go higher than memory allows. My throat tightens. I never remember what's at the top. Silence lingers. A nurse lights a candle near the bed. Its wax pools outward in curling spirals. I watch the flicker, heartbeat matching its gentle sway. The sensory world blurs. The hum of old wires, a feather that wasn't there before falling onto my sheets as I wake. Outside the observation window, technicians whisper about gift and burden. What if their memory brings in more than dreams? What if it attracts things not meant to surface? I overhear, doubt and awe tangled in their words. For every memory they lose, another sign appears, the neurologist notes, tapping a monitor where spirals bloom across the screen. My hands move on their own, sketching lines I later can't decipher. It's not amnesia, I argue quietly. It's like the dream is alive and only lets me keep what matters most for now. The warnings, the bridges, the sense someone is watching, protecting, waiting. In the corner, the investigator hesitates. "Do you regret letting us use your dreams?" he asks, voice cracking just a little. I open my palm, watching the feather lift in the breeze. Not regret, but some gifts won't let you sleep. Sometimes the memories protect, but sometimes maybe they're gates that can't be closed. As the room dims, shadows spiral across the ceiling. I wonder what waits at the top of that endless staircase, and if the answer is meant for me, alive, half asleep, holding pieces of a story too old to forget, but impossible to explain fully awake. Researchers from 3 continents crowd the video conference grid, MIT's neuro team in midnight hoodies, Kyoto's monks in black silks, griots in colorful tunics, all lit by the pale gold of their screens. The lead analyst clears her throat, scrolling through the neural data. There are spikes here we can't categorize, she says, voice equal parts awe and exhaustion. Runs of symbols recur between brainwaves, sometimes spirals, sometimes runes. She gestures to scrolling images, indicating a pattern neither random nor known. A Kyoto monk examines the footage, brow furrowed. These dragons, he murmurs, pausing the frame where gold-lit eyes ripple behind dream bridges. They match scrolls only sung in our oldest rites. His hand hovers over the keyboard, as if reluctant to touch it. In Dakar, a griot drums softly beside the laptop, his fingers echoing rhythms emerging within the tape's audio. Listen, ancestor drums. My forebears would say this was a call to gather. But how did these notes end up in someone else's dream? The neurologist at MIT sketches lines carefully, her hand moving almost unconsciously. I don't write in runes, she says, startled, as her pencil etches unfamiliar shapes between charts of REM cycles. She glances at her colleague, who, equally unnerved, holds up a sheet, ink patterns that look eerily similar, drawn in a trance during analysis. Data washes in, synchronized spikes at certain frames, heart rates quickening across time zones as blue and gold flicker through the film. It's as if something wants to communicate through all our frameworks, science, myth, memory, the griot whispers. The Kyoto monk nods. This is not just a dream, but an invocation, a protection, and a riddle. An intern, voice soft, asks the group, "Do you think meaning is hiding in the overlap? Or are we waking to something that belongs to all of us?" The lead analyst can only shake her head, a half smile at the wonder and worry entwined in every data point. No tool we have can map this. Maybe that's not failure. Maybe it's the invitation. Outside the lab, the night hangs thick and still. Inside, screens glow gentle gold, analysts speaking in murmurs, sometimes English, sometimes in half-remembered dialects, sometimes just music. All around them, measured logic and ancient story cross in a new kind of map, unfinished but undeniably alive. Have you ever dreamed something that felt like a message from another world? Share your story below. Fluorescent light leaks in through the blinds as researchers hunch over their screens, eyes shadowed, faces taut. The clock blinks 2:13, then 3:07. Nobody remembers the last time they slept. A senior scientist in rumpled sleeves scratches spirals across a blackboard, covering every space without realizing. I can't stop thinking about it, she mutters to her assistant, who thumbs a broken jade amulet in his pocket, knuckles white. I see patterns even when I blink. A project manager peers out from behind a stack of empty coffee cups. The more we watch the tape, the less it makes sense, she admits. Half the team has quit, refusing to enter the viewing booth again. One researcher, gaunt from sleeplessness, laughs bitterly. If it's just data, why does it follow us into daylight? Tension crackles as friendships unravel under the pressure of obsession. A neurologist stares at his hands, voice frayed. My dreams are off. When I close my eyes, I see glyphs, sometimes before I see them on the tape. A younger technician, cheeks hollow, whispers, "Sometimes I think it's watching us now." He glances over his shoulder, shivering, as if the spirals on his notepad might move. In the halls, a sense grows. Screens occasionally flicker with images that no one remembers queuing up. A security guard finds himself tracing circles along the hallway with his flashlight. Every chalk ring, every sleep study chart twists toward motifs none can explain. Narration slides in as the lab's quiet disintegrates. Desperation drives one team to stop sleeping altogether. Pale, shoulders hunched, they binge-watch the dream tape, transfixed yet fraying at the edges. They jot endless numbers, map connections, but never capture the pattern fully. Some claim to hear voices, soft, insistent, at the edge of waking. A power outage plunges the team into shadow. Someone stands by the window, eyes wide, heart pounding. "Did it want us to see or to unsee?" she asks, breath visible in the sudden cold. When dawn finally breaks, the chalkboards covered wall to wall in spirals. Coffee is cold, the lab silent except for nervous footsteps. What started as science has broken into obsession. Something other now hums at the edge of consciousness, no longer content to sleep. A scent of burning sage and salt greets the gathering. This is not a standard lab observation, but a conclave. The lead scientist places the dream tape at the center of a ring drawn in sacred chalk. Around her, neurologists in wrinkled coats, voodoo priests draped in beads, Buddhist monks drumming soft, a Lakota healer swirling painted sticks in the air. Each carries something: a tattered scroll, a crystal bowl, a rough drum, calligraphy brushes blackened by ritual ink. "Keep your mind anchored," murmurs a monk, steadying his breath as the lights dim and incense hisses on a hot coal. "We act as witnesses, not subjects." A voodoo priest marks salt circles around the projector. "Circle binds what the soul cannot," he chants. The lead analyst's hand shakes as she presses play. Blue, then red, then violet. The dream imagery bleeds across every face. Shadows spiral, gates open, the air thickens. The Lakota healer beats a drum, each note sharp, meant to hold the body in place. "Sing if you lose focus," she warns, voice echoing off painted walls. The neurologist beside her bites his lip, writing in a frantic hand. Heart racing, images matching dream phase, but awake? A Buddhist nun closes her eyes, intoning sacred syllables as bursts of color swirl on screen, a language only half known. As the trance deepens, one priest's voice trembles. Salt blurs. Is it breaking the boundary? The salt ring cracks. Wind shivers through the darkened room. Several viewers sway, eyelids fluttering, torn between ritual and surrender. "Hold your artifact! Don't let go!" someone cries. The projector sparks as a ripple of gold leaps across it, smoke curling toward the ceiling. A scientist rises too fast, eyes wide and wild. "The dream's not just a phenomenon. It's a summons. See? It's crossing over." The room pulses with rhythm. Drumming, chanting, salt underfoot, incense trailing blue. Yet with every ritual layer, the urge to sleep, to let go, battles with the will to stay awake. The segment closes in eerie calm, a blend of waking and dream energy crackling in the air, each participant holding fast to their own relic, their breaths mingling as the tape ends at last. Everyone stares, haggard but half awake, some smiling in relief, others unsettled by all that the rituals held at bay, and all that nearly slipped through. A monk sets down her drum, eyes shining in the low light. No dream is only for one soul, she whispers. Next time, we prepare better, or let the dream teach us the protection we forgot. Which ritual, symbol, or practice do you think could shield against such a dream? Tell us below. Sun pools through the laboratory blinds, painting yellow lines onto every wall. One neurologist, hunched over a mug, mutters, "Did you see that pattern in the frost? Like the tape's glyphs?" She glances, uneasy, as her breath leaves a spiral on the window. Across town, a graduate student pauses in front of a street mural she never noticed before. Blue runes curling down a lamppost. She rubs her eyes, blinking. Are they residue from last night's dream, or do they belong here, seeping into the waking world? A lab assistant at her desk taps her pen, distracted. Every time she closes her eyes, even for a blink, rivers curl through the dark, silent except for the sound of distant drums. I thought it was just in my dreams, she whispers, voice unsteady. But I saw it, on the subway wall this morning. That color, that spiral. An elderly security guard sweeps chalk dust from a hallway, noticing that the ring he drew in idle worry yesterday still glows neon beneath his flashlight. Passers-by glance twice, a few snapping photos, unsure why they feel both uneasy and awed. At home, a scientist runs water for tea. Steam curls upwards, forming symbols she recognizes but can't read. Is it possible this is more than a suggestion? She wonders, voice barely rising over the kettle's hiss. Her daughter interrupts, voice dreamy. Can you see colors with your ears? She shakes her head, unsure if it's a riddle or another echo from the dream world bleeding through. Everywhere something shifts. A school door etched with unfamiliar marks. A barista's reflection in the espresso machine, refusing to move until she looks away. Students murmur about dreams that seem too real. Doors opening to forest paths. Hands reaching through candlelight. Voices old as time humming lullabies beneath traffic noise. Each person's moment is small, an unnoticed frost pattern, a wordless pause at sunset, a reflection that waits too long before fading. But together, they sense the boundary thinning. The world's buried memory not just returning, but reframing reality. The air tingles with possibility, fearful, hopeful, leaving one burning question hanging in this crossroads of dream and day. Who truly wakes when mystery walks the world with open eyes? Stone steps radiate with heat beneath my feet as I arrive at Petra's crimson gate, a wind rising and falling through the canyons. My bag is light, but the sense that something weightless follows me never leaves. The desert guide, face weathered, holds out a water flask. Why search for what lives only in sleep? He asks, voice edged with both caution and curiosity. My answer is half whispered. The patterns, the spirals won't let go. He shrugs, gesturing deeper into the canyons. Some dreams live in stone, not memory. Watch the shadows. They'll tell you if you're welcome. His words settle as I pass arches marked with fresh symbols, signs echoing those I've seen only behind closed eyes. In Kyoto, the city reads with its hush. Moss creeps along shrine steps. Prayer banners flutter, bright with characters I recognize without knowing how. The monk who greets me offers tea, then waits patiently as I fumble for meaning. No pilgrimage is easy, she says, drawing a spiral on a page. Our ancestors mapped dreams too. Here, we read them in patterns, not in answers, but in the paths walked twice. I kneel beside her as she brushes sand in careful arcs, mapping a boundary I sense but cannot see. Stay silent. Sometimes meaning speaks in what's left unsaid. Later, on Navajo land, the desert horizon dissolves beneath a thunderstorm. A Diné healer explains the ceremony in a language old as wind. Every traveler needs direction. Ours comes from sand drawings. Sometimes you walk under one sky, sometimes under many. His palm, pressed to the earth, lifts dust that spirals in the sunlit air. If you listen, you'll find not all doors are for entering. Some are for guarding. In every place I sense the same watcher, an unseen keeper of doors at the edges of vision, both beckoning and warning with every shift in wind, every pause in song. At night, synchronicities tangle into my path. 3 stones stacked at a forked trail, a child humming my dream's melody. Answers linger, close, but always just beyond reach. I end my day perched on a boulder overlooking the desert, wind whipping bright cloth against my skin. As the stars appear, I look for meaning in their scattered map, and know, deep inside, that the search awakens new questions, new guardians, and a presence that has been waiting with patient hope longer than memory. A council gathers deep in the monastery, a vaulted room flickering with torchlight, shadows thick on curved walls. Elders from every tradition form a circle, monks with prayer beads, neuroscientists with spiral-marked notes, a griot drumming softly at the edge. My voice feels small as I stand, dream tapes laid on the table between us, the weight of hope and dread in every breath. A Benedictine abbot studies me, hands clasped tight. "You carry the burden," he murmurs. "But is it right to let the world stumble into this dream, or to guard it as we have before?" A neurologist wipes her glasses, lines of worry on her brow. Our models break down. No map for what happens next. If this goes out, it won't just be science changing, reality changes. The council leader, voice steady, asks, "Do you remember what woke you up most, the warning or the welcome?" My throat tightens. Both. In the dream's core, there's a keeper, sometimes blocking the way, sometimes giving a key. Whatever power this is, it can heal or divide. It's not mine alone. It chooses whoever's willing to listen. A voodoo priest smooths a silk scarf over the table, his knuckles pale. "I fear chaos," he admits. "Protection sometimes means silence, but dreams that big, they break out." Next to him, a Navajo woman touches the sand drawing on her lap. Hiding never truly kept anything safe. When secrets stir, they want day as much as darkness. I glance around, monks watching flames, a scientist tapping nervous code into her tablet, my own hands shaking. "What would you do?" I ask, voice raw. A hush. The room turns inward, breaths rise and fall. The answer isn't just logic, it's fate. One elder steps forward, torchlight catching the gold lines along his staff. "We weigh this not just for today. We weigh it for the hearts yet to awaken, the places not yet marked by the spiral. If you carry the dream into the world, do so as a bridge, not a weapon." I breathe slowly, conscience trembling. Then I choose, not to unleash chaos, but not to bury the truth. If the world needs to wake, let it be with guides, not with fear. Heads nod, some relieved, others still wary. The torch flame bends, blue-green now, as if in silent approval. In the silence, everyone senses the crossroads. No decision is clean, but the act of choosing is enough to break the spell. I set the tapes, unmarked, on the altar. Let them be a doorway, not just a story. Whoever dreams next, let them never need to walk it alone. All around, eyes meet. Old questions flicker. A promise unspoken rippling through the circle. Whatever comes, It will not end with just one dream, one keeper, or one world. The tapes are delivered to every continent, broadcast, streamed, passed hand to hand as dawn breaks. In a candle-lit living room in Seoul, a family watches together, first wary, then transfixed, each drifting into a glowing, vivid dream. A child stirs awake first, drawing the tape's strange spiral pattern in the condensation on the window. "Did you dream what I dreamed?" she asks her brother, who nods, eyes wide. In São Paulo's glowing cityscape, teens huddle on a rooftop, phones glowing under the aurora-like lights shimmering across the evening sky. "I saw my grandmother," one whispers, "and your grandfather walked beside her." Another shakes his head, laughing uncertainly. "I understood what they said, even though I've never spoken those words." Throughout Paris, Lagos, and Mumbai, old and young wake recalling the same labyrinthine stories. Spiral roads, tunnels between memories, hands reaching through thresholds of color and music. Priests pray beside streaming screens. Skeptics and scientists jot feverish notes. Poets fill journals with visions. No one's dream feels private now. In kitchens, strangers share fragments. Was there a blue city? Did you see the door open? The boundaries between cultures dissolve as entire neighborhoods hum in sleep. Ancient motifs twisting out of personal memory and into the shared air. Some feel soothed, a sense of protection humming through blood and breath. Others, startled, wonder if waking is safer than sleep. A nurse, waiting out a shift in New York, watches her colleagues sketch identical labyrinths mid-shift. "This isn't just a dream," she breathes. "It's an invitation. We're not alone, not in what we fear or in what we hope." In living rooms everywhere, candles burn low. Story maps cover kitchen tables, whole families tracing the same mythic loops on paper. The divide between one person's mystery and a worldwide awakening blurs. Conversation sparks, reality stretches. Nobody knows what happens next, but everything feels closer. Knowledge and wonder, longing and belonging, woven into sleep and daylight alike. As the aurora arcs over the darkened city, bright green and blue, someone steps outside, feeling seen for the first time by the stars themselves. Night pours its hush across the city as streetlights paint circles on empty pavement. I walk home slow, shoes brushing spiral chalk sketches left over in the morning's rain. For the first time, every window I pass glows with a soft blue lamp. Neighbors nod. Strangers exchange brief, knowing glances, as if some hidden signal connects us all. Inside, I set the old talisman on my desk. A carved stone, brass spiral inlaid, warm in my palm though the night is cold. From my window, the wind carries the distant sound of bells, temple, church, schoolyard, all ringing at once, their notes blending with the gentle rustle of leaves. I pause, letting the sound wash over me, a reminder that everyone, everywhere, dreams tonight with an echo of the same melody. The world doesn't feel normal anymore, gentler, maybe, and more awake. Monks and neurologists send messages across continents, trading stories in hushed early hours. They meet at makeshift altars, kitchen tables covered in spiral drawings and dream journals, temples hung with bright new banners, clinics where doctors now ask about dreams as often as symptoms. Keepers of the unconscious gate, someone calls us, half laughing, half in awe. People who listen for what is buried, who guard the wisdom and warning pulsing quietly beneath the surface of waking life. As midnight settles into quiet, I step out onto the porch. The pendant on my neck is heavy. Old weight, new presence. Street lamps flicker, Spiral graffiti glimmers silver above a garden gate. Somewhere unseen, an owl calls softly in the hush. Eyes closed, I breathe. No need to chase every answer. Now there's faith in the questions themselves. Faith that what we carry together is neither curse nor cure, but a chain of wonder passing from hand to hand, vision to vision, with every nightfall. If you felt awakened by this vision, subscribe for more mysteries and tell us, what dream has never left you, and what do you believe it meant?